Hi, it's me, Joe, Common Fish. Today, I want to share my preparations for the cold water fishing, specifically for Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel in January and February. This and the subsequent videos are responses to the questions about everything in my cold water fishing. Here are things expected in January and February at CBBT. Tok is the only target fish. Water temp is between 42 and 46. The current can be 2.5 knots at the bridge pilings. I'll be 3 plus miles off the shore. There will be no help because I'm the only one fishing usually. I prepared 2 videos. This is the first part of the video showing how I prepare the equipment and clothing. The second part, a separate video, includes my self-rescue practice in November 23. Please watch both videos. Part 1. Safety equipment and clothing based on my experience and my needs. These are I'm covering: grab lines, PFD, man leash, marine radio, rod leash, pull ropes, cutter for fishing line, pump, bucket, paddle leash, and additional items such as wader, belt, clothing, etc. I have grab lines on both sides of the kayak. The grab lines are also used as anchor trolley. There are 2 more grab lines for the re-entry from the stern. Inflatable PFD. I don't use it. It is not designed for my kayak re-entry. I need the slim front to slide onto the kayak. I used this type because of the better mobility. I wear my PFD very tightly. The marine radio is placed high, my shoulder level, so that it doesn't interfere with my re-entry from the water. And the whistles are kept in the pocket. I used to carry a phone on the PFD. I detached it from the PFD because it is useless in the water and it interferes with the re-entry. I leash myself to kayak always. I call it man leash on my videos. I think it's the most important leash. Many times the wind and current push the kayak and the kayaker to the opposite directions immediately. It's very hard to catch the fleeing kayak while wearing a PFD and wader. I no longer use any coiled leashes on my kayak because the coiled leashes do get entangled with fishing lines, especially when overboard. I found that 1/8 inch bungee cord is perfect for the rod, paddle, and man leashes. It is strong and easy to unknot. This is how I keep the man leash short. The leash expands immediately when dunked. Sometimes you need to detach or attach the leash while you are moving around in the water. The swivels are big for one-hand operation for that. I have used marine radio twice. This is one of two calls. You will see the importance of the rod leash on this video. If you don't leash yourself to the kayak, leash your rod. We faced this churning water twice at the bridge. You do not want to lose your kayak here. Whenever I got dunked, I was holding a rod. Because my rod was leashed, I didn't have to chase the fleeing kayak. At Kitopik concrete ships, I didn't lose the kayak because of the rod leash. Minutes ago, I was able to pull the kayak back to me by pulling the rod leash before I reached the grab line. Then uprighted the turtle's kayak. I have two pull ropes for uprighting the turtle's kayak. This end connects to the kayak handle. This large loop is for my hands. Pull, 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 upright the kayak. Notice that there is a weight included. A weight is used to toss the rope over the kayak. So I put the weight on it so I can just do this. Twice I got entangled with fishing lines when overboard. When the first time it happened, the current was strong, the wave was high, and the bottom rig got stuck on something on the bottom. During the first instant, I couldn't breathe because the waves went over my head even though I had a PFD on. The stuck rig kept pulling me down. It was a horrifying experience. So I am always very conscious about getting entangled with fishing line. Luckily, that time I had the rod leash. I reached my kayak, a big floating object, by pulling the rod leash. In the first time, I didn't have the main leash. I had the rod leash and the grab lines. I reached my kayak, a big floating object, by pulling the rod leash. I hooked the grab line with my elbow and rested for a while because I was breathing very hard. When I used the grab line, I had two hands to do anything. Having two hands is crucial in self-rescue. I reached the tackle back and used a pair of scissors to cut the fishing line. After the incident, I added this thin line cutter on the back of the seat in addition to two pairs of scissors. I'm hoping I don't have to use it. This is how I'm going to use the line cutter. Hook the grab line with my elbow. Get the line cutter. Cut the fishing line. During the actual self-rescue, you don't actually see the fishing line. You can just feel the fishing lines. In summary, you need to have rod leash. Also, you need a grab line. With grab line, you have two hands. You can call someone, you can get help. With two hands, you can rest. When you get so tired, you can just rest. Right? So you got to have this. It's a safety item. This is a safety item. Also, this is also a safety item. You don't want to lose your kayak. You gotta stay with a kayak. I have kayak pump, but it happened too fast. I had to jump in the water to make the kayak float. I have a kayak pump, but I couldn't use it because I didn't place it right place. In this way, I can grab the pump while sitting on a kayak or in the water. This bucket is made of a windshield fluid bottle. It's flexible to use in any shapes of the hulls. So far, the bucket was used only once for someone else's sinking kayak. Let's go through things in my list for the cold weather. I prefer a waist high over a chest waders for self-rescue, pit stops, and draining the water in the wader while on the kayak. I found that many kayakers don't tighten the weight belt when fishing. This means they need to have the belt that can be tightened up immediately when overboard without unbuckling it. I like this belt because you can make it tighter immediately in the water. This is not a good belt for self-rescue. You don't want to unbuckle it first to tighten it up while in the water. Also, this type of belt can be easily unbuckled when the belt end catches something. I wear a thin nylon shirt and a 3mm wetsuit jacket as base layer. Then I wear one or two light and fluffy polyester sweaters or sweatshirts that drains the water fast. Then I wear a windbreaker. The 3mm wetsuit jacket kept me warm over 20 minutes in 34-degree water. I want to make sure that a whole day kayak fishing is not a whitewater kayaking. I wear a dry top for a short fishing only, not for a whole day fishing. I also wear a semi-dry top for a short fishing only. The windbreaker or spray top doesn't retain water when wet. I wear a windbreaker. The windbreaker kept me warm over an hour after I got dunked, against 10-15 mile wind and in 35-degree air until I got back to my truck. When wet, the windbreaker keeps the body warm against the wind. I put some holes in the elbow area to drain the water during the re-entry because a good amount of water can be captured in the elbow area. I believe my friend's kayak sank because of a deep cut by hitting barnacles in 2022. 100% polyester is good. Down, cotton, and other bulky ones are absolutely not acceptable. I use hand warmers, not foot warmers, because the hand warmers generate more heat. I wear the first sock, place the hand warmer on the toes, then wear the second sock. I wear the stocking foot waders only because of my wide feet, so I need to protect the soles of the waders. I protected the soles of one wader by putting a flexible marine glue. The marine glue also sealed the holes. I hope I covered all questions about my cold water preparation. Remember, this video is part 1. Please watch part 2, titled Self-Rescue in Cold Water, Part 2, Self-Rescue Practice. It was posted on January 19th, 2024, the same day. Happy fishing, everyone!